Let's get started!
Clever comrade. Here are the results of the poll.
Ah yes, the totally not cheated poll, which you made, and then coincidentally won.
There are no cheats here. I just won. I must now wear more drink.
Deadline, you look ridiculous.
No, I look sexy.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna start the rant now. Okay, here we go. MHA chapter 396. This chapter's got cool fight scenes, awesome overpowered power armors, and Superman death flags. 100 bajillion Superman death flags. Anyways, do take note that this video will not be a full recap. We are just gonna be ranting about things that don't make sense. But before we start, let me say a little something. So about the previous chapter. So a big deal in it is Libra transferring over a great deal of blood onto Telly, because she bled out a lot from this one little stab wound. While I can understand this and all, but how come Lord Explosion Murder bled out more, yet didn't need any blood transfusion? On the other hand, how come Lord Explosion Murder's surgery required a wash bubble, yet Telly's surgery didn't? Also, only now I realized that both people who did the operation here don't have medical backgrounds. Yeah. Man, this final battle's really f***ing wild. Okay, that's enough illogical medical procedures. Let's go start with the rant. So about chapter 396. This chapter marks the return of the much anticipated and long awaited battle between Deadline and Mecha Superman. Naturally, being a chapter in which Deadline is the main big bad villain, it's got none of the f***ing stupid save the villain bullshit that's so annoyingly prominent in the past two fights. And instead, it's got a decent amount of action. After 2 months of stupid sob stories and stupid baby pictures, we are finally back again to some good old-fashioned shonen action.
Finally!
And speaking of action, so over here Deadline opened up with a wide sweeping beam attack. Now while it just looked like your standard powerful attack, but notice how it easily destroyed buildings. In comparison, there's the supergiant form of the supposed deadliest villain of all time, who literally spent 11 f***ing chapters attacking one single f***ing building just 1/3 the size of him. And yet this is the only thing it f***ing accomplished. Yeah, the physical form of the supposed final boss can't beat buildings, yet the one character who's supposed to be the stupid pathetic clown can. Yeah. Okay, that's enough building destruction bullshit. Now it's time for the main event. The Superman mech suit. Okay, so let me get this straight. So apparently Superman had a quirk replicating power armor suit that's specially designed to go toe-to-toe against Mr. Demon Lord all this time. But instead of using it immediately and helping out at Gunga Mountain, he instead just stood back and watched as the heroes there risked their lives and almost died just trying to stall Mr. Demon Lord as much as they can. And only when said Mr. Demon Lord had very little rewind time left, only then he decided to show up in his superpower armor, and then immediately demanding that his fight be broadcasted to the masses, because apparently he'll surely win and inspire everyone. Yeah. After Superman literally just stood around doing nothing and just let other heroes do most of the hard work for him, he'll be the one to swoop in and try to finish the job solo and get all the glory, fame, money, and a whole lot of other prizes. You know, Superman could have just ordered some actual gear and equipment for the actual heroes that will do most of the heavy lifting in the final battle. But no. He ordered only for himself and didn't even tell anyone about it. Probably, or else these two could replicate the power suit and he won't be oh so special anymore. And before you could say that, it would be hard to replicate such specialized equipment. I'm not saying that everyone should get their own cars that transform into quirk replicating power suits. I'm just saying that everyone should at least get actual armor in this final battle, and not just go out there to fight supposed massive threats wearing nothing but a one-piece bathing suit. Anyways, back to the symbol of peace being a symbol of a piece of shit. So yeah, instead of helping out and being a team player, Superman would rather have all the attention himself. Hell, he didn't even call in the American laser jets so no one else would take the spotlight away from him. But perhaps the silliest part of all this is that this whole solo act is clearly intended by the creator to be a very heroic and ultra badass last stand against the Demon Lord. Yeah. Superman being a selfish piece of shit is apparently meant to be heroic. Amazing. Simply amazing. Also, about the various death flags scattered throughout the chapter. I gotta say, I found them a bit too strange. Instead of just being subtle, they're a little bit too blatant and obvious and out in the open. To the point that they feel less like death flags and more like a deliberate trick to make people think that Superman is going to die. When in reality, he won't. In a way, these blatant death flags feel awfully similar to the stuff that happened in chapter 353. Where characters everywhere talked about how Sunbird is defeated, when in reality he's not actually defeated. Yeah. I think these death flags are just bait. I'm calling it now. Superman won't die. I mean, come on. Deadline can't even kill a single hero in this final battle. And also, more importantly, Superman still needs to sign Lord Explosion Murder's fan card, or whatever the this thing is, and obviously he needs to be alive to do that. Yeah, Superman's not gonna die.
I'm not dying, you idiot!
But then again, even in the event that he died, he'll just turn into a vestige ghost anyway, and it's not like he'll actually disappear or anything. So for short, live or die, it's pretty much the same. Okay. So that's pretty much all I can rant about this chapter. The battle's just starting anyways and there's not much any rantable stuff yet. Overall, chapter 396. It's a relatively okay chapter all things considered. Plus it's got actual action, and action's always pretty nice. And in terms of the length of this whole battle, I predict it's gonna go all the way until chapter 400 or so. With Superman just going over and over and over using Deadline as a glorified training dummy punching bag and testing out his cool technology replicated Class A quirks.
Which ones?
All of them.
Also, before we truly end, I just gotta ask, what's the purpose of these NPCs anyway? All I've seen them do so far is just overreact to everything. Is that their job or something? Is there even a job where you just stand around and just overreact to potential world-ending threats? Holy shit, if that's the case then—
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
Okay, I'm done. Hey Deadline, are you really serious with that drip? You look like Santa Claus in that, if he joined the Mafia.
Man, that Stardust, clever comrade. That means I'm not only sexy, but also badass. Big blue woman. Am I sexy and badass?
No.
What? Hey viewers, am I sexy and badass?
Okay Deadline, that's enough. I'm ending the video.
But